I am trying a new recipe for brioche hot dog buns. We're having brats for dinner tonight. And I don't have any hot dog buns, and I have always wanted to try a brioche style bun. They're my favorite, and of course I'm trying really hard not to buy them from the grocery store anymore when I know I can make my own bread at home. Puppies are playing. Of course they are. They were sleeping literally until I pulled my camera out. Okay, let's start with 3½ cups all-purpose flour. I'm reserving a ½ cup because I'm not sure how much in total flour this recipe will need. 2 teaspoons of yeast, 2 tablespoons of sugar, get that kind of whisked up in here. All right, on my warming unit on the stove, I had 3 tablespoons of milk and 3 tablespoons of butter. Going to add that in here. Just as that butter was starting to melt, I took it off. One cup of lukewarm water. Brioche is a dough recipe that, where is my little bowl? That's made with egg in it, and of course then brushed with egg. So typically my other recipes that I've ever used in the past does not include eggs. Okay, 1½ teaspoons of salt. Okay, let's get this mixed together. So I was just reading the directions a little bit, and it says the dough is going to be a sticky and shaggy dough. So that might be why the recipe calls for a specific amount of flour and not a window. Usually bread recipes will say 5 to 5½ or 5 to 6 cups. Because you don't really know how much flour, of course, it's going to need. So I'm still gonna do it this way though. Ingredients being what they are, I don't want to waste them regardless of how easy it may or may not be to come by, you know what I mean? So I'll see what this looks like first. If you're somebody who is generally concerned about baking bread because you're not sure if it's been kneaded enough, has it been kneaded too much, This is probably a good recipe for you to try because you really aren't giving it time to knead. You're really just letting it sort of incorporate and come together. Which, believe it or not, is actually tricky for me because I want it to be different. But I'm just gonna get this kind of rolled in with another just to make sure all that flour is incorporated and so it stays hydrated. So it is sticky, it really is, but it isn't wet, so there's a difference. All right, we're gonna get this into an oiled bowl. I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap and we'll come back in somewhere between an hour to 2 hours to shape the hot dog buns. So I'm excited about this recipe. I can definitely see that there's egg in it because it's got that yellow hue. That's what gives the brioche buns the color, of course, from the yolk. We'll be back. Okay, you are not going to get a rise like you would a sandwich bread. So once you start to see that it's actually rising, go ahead and take it out, which is about a half hour, I would say. Half hour, 40 minutes, depending on how warm you keep your house. We're going to get these separated into, recipe says it makes 10. I've never really been good at dividing things in the number that they should be. So that means each one has to be divided into 5. All right, so we're going to form these into a ball and we're going to tuck, pull and tuck until you basically have the start of a ball. We're going to get our roller. This rolled into a rectangle. We're going to fold, go ahead and pinch a little bit. And we can tuck those ends. Put them onto a parchment-lined cookie sheet. And just keep repeating. Two, 4, 6, 8, 9. This one is definitely a little big and probably could have been cut in half, but that's okay. No perfection around here. Okay, these are gonna, I'm gonna cover this with a tea towel and check back in on it in maybe about an hour, 2 hours if your house is cold, just check on it. So our buns have risen some, and I'm going to go ahead and get an egg wash over the top. We'll get them into the oven. Now, going to play around with some recipes. I know from experience that this bread will definitely expand more once it is in the oven. All right, so these are gonna go into the oven at 375 degrees for, I think, like 15 minutes. I'll double check the recipe, I can't remember. So these baked for 15 minutes. When they came out of the oven, I did brush the tops with melted butter. I'm going to get these onto a cooling rack, and they will be ready for when dinner time comes. And then any leftover I will store in the freezer for another day. So I hope this encourages you to try something new. Go ahead and make a batch and just store them in the freezer. Do this every so often, and you won't have to purchase buns from the grocery store either. I will add at the end of this video a clip of how they cut open, and of course what our dinner looks like then using these buns. I find it very easy. I think for new beginners even, this recipe would be really fantastic for you. So as long as they are super delicious, I will keep this in rotation for when I am making my hot dog buns, and I'm willing to bet you shape them into a circle and they would make just fine hamburger buns too. So thanks so much for coming in my kitchen today. I hope I was able to show you a new recipe. If you do give it a try, please let me know down below if you have a different rendition of a brioche style bread. Let me know as well, and I'll see you the next time I'm in my kitchen.